What's your secret that could literally ruin your life if it came out? 2.5 years ago I was in dire financial straits, so I sold my home to keep my struggling business afloat. I neglected to tell the owners that they have an 800 square ft bunker on the property that I built about 7 years ago. The bunker that I've called home since I sold it. The entrance to it is well hidden, but I still come and go very early very late in the day. I'm a single man who keeps to himself. I'm now in a situation where I could move somewhere else, but I love this hidden paradise so much. Background: I'm a guy in my late 20s who was taken into care age 7. Everyone around me already knows that I was brought up by foster families because I had a Shirley childhood. I deliberately keep it vague and say stuff like I'd rather not go into it so that people will just assume I was abused in some way and they'll stop asking about it. The truth is that for the first 7 years of my life, I was brought up as a girl by my shy co-birth mother who really wanted a daughter and didn't let the snag of giving birth to a boy stop her from trying to raise one. She was a pretty successful professional in a legal field, not entirely sure what, and had me via anonymous sperm donor from a fertility clinic. She found out I was a boy at a late ultrasound and then moved across the country. Gave birth to me at home and continued to move about until I was 5 or so. It was just the two of us all my life. We had contact with other people, of course, but they rarely got very close. I had lots of friends, but was always supervised. I found out way after that my mother's strong puritanical Christianity was a lie she used to explain why she was so strict about me being private and never letting anyone see me get changed or anything. I just accepted all of this as fact, having never been told anything different. I was sent to a religious school for girls and had a really great childhood. I was a bit of a tomboy and played with Lego and toy animals rather than dolls and stuff, but that's not unusual and no one ever questioned I was a girl, even me. I knew about men and women, but had never really seen much of naked people. My mother never ever spoke to me about it, but I kinda had the impression that when I grew up and got boobs and stuff, my D would kinda fall off or something and I would be a woman, and other kids would keep their DS and they'd be men. I dunno, to be honest, I never really thought about it. Anyway, I carried on with my happy girlhood, and had a bunch of friends and everything was great until I was 7 and a teacher accidentally spilled a cup of hot coffee over me at school. The liquid soaked through my clothes and was scalding me, so the staff immediately stripped me out of my dress and underwear to get the hot coffee away from my skin. And then they found out. The cops were called and I got taken to speak with who I guess would be social services. They asked me a bunch of questions about life at home and stuff. Meanwhile, my mother was taken in for questioning too. She refused to acknowledge me as male and insisted I was her daughter. Because she was, you know, delusional and stuff, I wasn't allowed to go back home but got put with a foster family and went through loads of therapy and stuff. The worst part was that literally overnight, I lost everything. My mother, my home, all my toys, all my clothes. I moved school so lost all my friends. They cut all my hair off and told me I wasn't a girl anymore. It was really traumatic. The first foster home wasn't that great. They had 3 boys already and going from a sheltered religious only child upbringing to a rough and tumble testosterone filled environment was really difficult. They tried to force me to be masculine and I was just too confused about what they wanted. Anything girly was reprimanded and I felt so lost and alone because nothing I did was right. I tried to commit suicide when I was 11 and again at 13 because I didn't feel I fitted in anywhere. After the second attempt, they moved me to a different foster family who were awesome. I consider them to be my parents. They actually stood up for me. The first thing was that they let me grow my hair. From when I got taken into care, they buzzed my hair short, and I hated it. They always had to hold me down and do it forcibly while I was crying and fighting. My new parents flatly refused to do it and said that loads of boys had long hair. They also let me quit karate and football and take up swimming and jazz dance. Since I'd been in care, no one had ever stood up for my right to choose what activities to do or how to dress before. It was amazing. In the end, I came out of it with a pretty healthy gender identity. I'm a guy, but not the most butch guy ever, but I'm fine with that. I went through school and got my degree and have a pretty good job and an amazing, supportive wife. Everything looks great. But I can never speak about my early childhood and how I grew up as a little girl. TL wrote, I'm a guy and let people believe I was raised in care because I was abused when in fact I had a great childhood except that my mother tried to raise me as a girl. Edit, holy crap, I never expected such a response. Have finally remembered the password I used for this account and am answering any questions I find. Thank you, Reddit. I speak 2 languages, so every time I received a new essay I would browse the topic in my own language and translate the text word by word to English, then submitted it. No one ever caught me for plagiarism before. Half of Europe does this. I cut off all contact with everyone I know and moved to Kenya. I tell people a fake name and a fake background and have made it appear to my family that I died on boat trip in the Pacific. No, I am not joking. I am dead in the United States. Tupac. I run a cake business. I charge people hundreds for wedding cakes. Every last one is made using Pillsbury cake mix I buy for $1 a box at Walmart. I suck at baking. Every time I've ever tried to make a cake from scratch it sucked. But baking is like my whole deal. My friends all call me the cake girl. It's like my whole life is a lie. People compliment my cakes all the time, telling me how delicious they are. Telling me it's so much better than box mix cake. Telling me they could never bake a cake so delicious. Well, guess what? For one, they too can make a cake just as delicious. Just add oil, eggs and water. In my defense, I love cake decorating. I make all of the frostings and fondant from scratch. I just hate baking fricking cakes. I base my prices mostly on the decoration of the cakes and not of the cake itself, if that makes sense. Still, no one knows about this except my husband. Even my best friends think I fricking slave over the oven mixing and baking these damn cakes. I have been doing this for years. If anyone knew, my business and reputation would be in the toilet for sure. I keep telling myself I have to learn how to make the damn cakes without the box mixes, but I never do it. I feel like such a sham sometimes. Edit, holy sh, I didn't expect such a response to this. I feel better about it thanks to a lot of these comments. Funny, I started this account as a novelty account and got bored of googling random cakes to post as comments. Lol, seemed perfect for this confession. Edit 2 months later I receive messages almost daily on this account. I am so glad I used a throwaway. I forget to check this account most of the time and rarely see this stuff until weeks later. That said, to answer the main questions, yes, I know I can order cake mix online, but I don't make enough cakes for it to be economical. It's actually more expensive to order online. Honestly, I'm not incredibly worried about people seeing me anymore. If I ran into someone I would tell them that I was helping my niece with a bake sale or something. I have, since this thread, made some cakes from scratch. I'm still using box mixes for chocolate and vanilla. Oh, and red velvet because frick all of that. Let's see what else. Oh right, I've received probably 100 comments saying the cake is a lie. We get it. It's very clever, but no, I'm sorry, you're not the first, second, third or 20th to say it. Overall, I've learned this is actually pretty normal. And that people from all over the world have a friend who makes cakes and they all think I am their friend. So far no one has pinned me, but you guys had better check your friends' cabinets for Pillsbury mix. Edit Wednesday the 17th of June. 2015. Alright kiddos. Here I am. A friend texted me and said my people need me, hahaha. I guess there was a thread that got big and mentioned this thread. Here's your update. I actually no longer make cakes. I got a divorce and moved into a much smaller home. At that point I had no place to decorate cakes. I was also really burnt out. It's an incredibly hard art. Very time consuming and requires a lot of tools and space. About a year later, I moved in with my now boyfriend. We have a pretty big kitchen. I wanted to sell my equipment and tools and the billion giant cake pans I have, but he convinced me not to. He said I should keep it on the back burner for a while and see if I want to do it again later. He didn't know me when I was a decorator, but he saw the photos and told me it would be a shame if I never did it again. I want to share some photos, but it would so easy to trace them back to my old cake blog. Maybe I can find 1 or 2 photos that were never posted there. Edit January 2018. Once in a while these Reddit lore posts pop up and someone mentions my confession and I think to check this account. I'm incredibly tickled to be a part of Reddit lore. I have a sort of hilarious update at this point. About a year and a half ago I was diagnosed with a wheat intolerance. My intestines decided they no longer wanted to digest wheat anymore. Woo. I actually just thought I was dying for a few months. It was really stressful. Anyway, I can't even frickin' eat cake anymore. I still have all of my equipment and whatnot. I make a quick cake now and then. But trust me when I say gluten-free cake mixes are better than anything I could make from scratch, lol. Here's a cute little cake I made for my birthday last year. It's not amazing, but it's not bad considering I rarely make cakes anymore. I still receive so many messages on this account. I'm sorry if I don't reply, but I never check this account. I've got everything in that inbox from people trying to guess who I am, to people giving me recipes, to people begging me for cake photos and one guy who wanted a video of me eating cake. Yikes. Anyhow, I'm getting married again, woo, second time is a charm to a dude I met on Reddit. And our wedding planner asked me to please not try to make my own wedding cake because she has seen it end in stressful disaster so many times. I'm going to take her advice and leave the cake making to someone else. I do know Reddit and I know some of you will call bullshit on this update, but that's fine, lol. I literally have no reason to lie, and with all this personal information someone will probably finally realize who I am for sure, haha. Update the 23rd of February 2019. The never-ending editing, lol. I hadn't logged into this account for over a year, but I saw someone mention me in a thread so I logged in real quick. A zillion messages in the all inbox. Sorry. I don't really have advice on how to start a cake decorating business. I just did my best and was mostly given business by word of mouth. Lots of people messaging to tell me I ripped people off. I mean, not really. People frickin' love the cakes, and when it's all said and done a box of cake mix plus all the stuff it takes to make it into a cake probably cost around the same amount as the raw ingredients. And people love the cakes, so that's whatever. Lots of people asking if I would be mad to find out that my wedding cake was made with box mix. No. Lol. Also, I was not charging anyone bakery prices. Anyone giving me a few $100s was paying me to make a massive cake that took me days to assemble and decorate. Also, my wedding was fantastically fabulous. We got a gluten-free cake from Milk Bar and I paid another bakery $400 to make us a beautifully decorated 2-tier cake for the guests to eat. Everything was amazing. Oh, and here's some fuel to fire all of y'all's weird hate, lol. I found this at the grocery store the other day. I'm over here about to ice up some gluten-free box mix cupcakes. https://i.mgur.com/mpi0yw.jpg. Peace PLS, don't give this account gold. I log into it like once a year. Save your money. Donate it to a charity or something instead. October 2019 edit. I can't believe I can still add edits to this. Weird. Anyway, things are great. I haven't been baking much dessert, but I've been working on some gluten-free French bread and it's going okay. Some people have messaged asking my marriage. My husband is awesome. He's really the best and it feels awesome to be with a partner who treats me as an equal. I have a lot of weird messages in my inbox. Some of y'all need therapy. I almost did an interview for a podcast on Reddit law, but I chickened out, sorry lol. I'm just not great at doing interview kinda stuff and was afraid I'd be super weird about it. April 2020 edit. OMG, I can't believe it's still letting me make edits to this. Jesus Christ. Quarantine is wild. All I do right now is watch 90 Day Fiancé and sew masks. So many masks. I guess this is my new thing. It's been really funny to see my post mentioned around Reddit once in a while. Especially when people add or change details like some kind of weird game of telephone. It honestly cracks me up. Keep being weird, Reddit. January 2021 seriously can't believe it still lets me edit this comment lol. Evidently I haven't logged into this account since last April. Still getting a steady stream of messages. Y'all are great. I just celebrated my birthday with a gluten-free cake from Milk Bar. It's amazing. I didn't really bake much during the pandemic so far, but I did learn how to sew and I've sewn over 3,000 masks in the last year which I sold and donated to people all over the US. I also had COVID for Christmas. It sucked. But I've fully recovered now and I'm hoping we can get this under control this year. I miss doing things and going places. At least there was no incest in this one. The cake. It's a lie. Okay, so this is a secret I've kept for nearly 20 years. During the summers when I was growing up, my parents would often leave my brother and I mail with our aunt and uncle who lived out in the country. It was great as they had 4 sons of ages close to ours, so we had a lot of fun doing kids stuff. One summer when I was 8, the oldest cousin was maybe 16. We somehow got talking and he asked me if I wanted to sleep in his room that night. He has the nicest room and bed, so I was all for it. Got into bed and he asked if he could touch my penis. I was 8 and just thought it was okay, so I'll let him. He rubs it for a bit and then asks me to do the same to him. So I do. This progresses and eventually I'm sucking his ock. I think I knew this was wrong, so I said I didn't want to carry on. We stop and I go to sleep quite confused. I wake up and he hands me some money and tells me never to tell anyone about what happened. Next night he tries to do the same thing. But now all I care about is the money. So I do it. This carried on for 2 summers. Eventually I got old enough to realize it was quite wrong regardless of the money and stopped. I've not told anyone this. He's now married with 2 kids. I'm also married and we see them sometimes at family events. I don't have the balls to even try and talk to him about it. Hell, I'm not even sure what I'd say. I'm sure this will get buried, but just getting it off my chest makes me feel better. TLDR, I was a gay child hooker. God, the TLDR just wrapped it up so beautifully. I once helped out my female friend's family by taking care of their cat for a week. Every day for a week, I would go over there and snoop around their house. I found my friend's diary and proceeded to read the entire thing. I used this information to get her to like me, and she is currently my wife. This is literally the juiciest secret in this thread for some reason. Not totally bland, but not overly obscene. Probably because this is something I could actually picture any person doing if given the chance. I just wanted to tell everyone that you can be damn sure that this thread ain't dead. This is Reddit's freaking confessional box. When I was 13, during the summer before I started high school, I was molested by a guy who dragged me into an alley, backed me into a corner so I couldn't escape, and even if I'd tried to, I couldn't have because he was taller and stronger than I was, and pulled my pants down. I tried to draw attention to where I was because I'd gone over to a guy's house with my friend because she liked him, and when we went he just happened to have a friend there to hang out with me while they went off and did whatever. Anyway, I tried to shout and make as much noise as I could, and the guy goes, "This would be easier if you were laying down," and tried to force me to the ground. Then my friend finally shows up and goes, "OMG, my name, what are you doing?" And the guy obviously doesn't go, "Oh yeah, no, I was trying to rape her, this was my idea," but instead goes, "She was trying to have sex with me, ha 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 ha," and just walks away. Then my friend doesn't believe me when I tell her he dragged me into the alley because she disappeared well before anyone could see him pulling on my arm with both hands and me trying to resist it as much as I could. I never told anyone because I didn't want them to react the same way my friend did. I think about it a lot, and every day I say maybe this will be the day I finally tell my parents what happened, and then I never do. That was almost 6 years ago. My friend and I no longer speak, but I'd stopped being friends with her maybe 5 or 6 months after that because she told a couple of our other friends that I tried to have sex with a guy I'd known for all of 5 minutes during the summer. Fuck. That's infuriating. I know what it's like not to be believed about the way something actually happened, but losing all your friends over it too? I don't want to be with my girlfriend anymore, but she might have cancer and I feel like I need to stay in the relationship. Edit. I have seen 50/50. Edit. Hey, so I thought I replied to this a few weeks ago. Today's date is 11/4, but I can't seem to find where I replied. She's healthy and I split up with her before we found out. Yay for life working out. You're a better man than Newt Gingrich. I faked the last 2 years of college education. My parents put so much pressure on me I couldn't handle it. I was suffering from severe depression and anxiety, so I faked it all. Lied to everyone. Made up fake transcripts. I just got my foot in the door in my desired field thanks to a friend as they hired me as a subordinate. This place only hires college grads, but no one double checked my credentials since I was recommended. My hopes is that if I need to find another job I'll have been at this place long enough to get it by experience alone. I work for a very prestigious company. I'm not bad at my job. I'm actually quite good. But my fear is eventually I'll hit a wall and the lie will come to light. No one has known this for the better part of a decade. It's a relief to finally say it out loud. I can't even tell those I love. My silence is my prison. If you get caught and go to a community college, you'll find a hilarious study group. When I was 17 I had an argument with my father and told him to frick off. Later that evening he hung himself. Our argument was the last time he spoke to anyone in our family, and for that I feel a terrible amount of guilt for. Instead of him saying goodbye and I love you to my mom and brothers, he got told to frick off before he went and killed himself. My punishment is to live the rest of my days in shame and guilt. He never left a note either. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment.